I sometimes think of the base of a table as a sort of stage. It holds up, for all to see, what is often the main attraction, the tabletop. It's this premium visibility of the top which makes tabletops one of the first things to come to mind when thinking about the best way to display woods with a great deal of character and visual appeal. If we can combine this material with good lines and proportions, we can produce coffee tables that both turn heads and, on a more practical note, help to keep our belongings off the ground. Hi, I'm Joe Griffith, the furniture maker here at studiojoe.us, and today we're going to walk through the design process for a couple of Curvy coffee tables. Please join me. Typically, tables with rectangular tops have rectangular bases. The rails, here shown in blue, form the sides of the rectangle with legs positioned at the corners. The problem with rectangular bases is that they tend to lock the legs into a fairly rigid orientation, forcing them to line up, well, in the shape of a rectangle. A base like this, when paired with a curved top, can seem like a square peg paired with a round hole, not what we are after. Uniquely shaped tops are often placed on pedestal bases because they tend to require less space and offer some design flexibility. The issue with pedestals is that they have greater limits on what they can support, and especially as the tabletops increase in size, pedestals require reinforcement on the top and bottom. Again, not what we are after. Enough about typical tables. Let's make our own. We'll go with one round and one more like a rectangle. Only not exactly a rectangle, that is, longer than it is wide, for sure, just using curves, not straight lines. Okay, since they are the most visible element, and also, just because we can, let's go ahead and start at the top, or, in our case, tops. Here, Mother Nature will be making us look good with some locally sourced, eye-catching hardwoods. In this case, internal bark hickory, internal bark black walnut, and curly maple. For the round table, 34 inches is a fairly versatile diameter. We just need to arrange our boards, glue them up, mark our circle, cut it out, something like that. For our relatively rectangular top, we first establish the width and length. About 23 inches by 45 inches should serve nicely. We'll use a flexible form for laying out the curve along the length. Here, we want a curve that is enough to look intentional, but not so much that it carves too much real estate out of the ends. That should work. We want the ends of the top to complement this arc. Time to break out the French curve set. This gives us a variety of compound curves to play with. After experimenting with a few different variations, this one should do nicely. Yes, I think I like that. Now, moving on to the bases for our tables. First, the rails. We know that we want to free our legs from having to align directly along the length or width of a traditionally rectangular base. Instead, we're going to arrange our rails in the shape of an X. This will allow our legs to radiate out from a central point, as does a circle, in tune with curvy tops. The legs, of course, are going to go with the flow. They will be arced and tapered. Here's a shot of the base for our round table. One rail runs directly through the center, and the other is joined through the center with an incredibly strong mortise and tenon joint. We have another set of rails running diagonally. This helps to stabilize the base and provide a place to mount the top. In the case of the more rectangular table, same thing, shape of an X. Here, however, the angle formed by the X makes the through mortise impractical. It is important to keep in mind that what we are after is the final look and feel of the table. We need to find a way to achieve this. Instead, we'll use a halved joint. In order to pull this off, we are going to have to build a special jig for the table saw, but what we will wind up with are two rails, both notched at an angle, which fit together beautifully. These X-shaped rails will again be reinforced with end rails which run diagonally and provide a place to mount the top. Let's step back and take a look. Yes, I think that will do. Curved tops and, for our tables, bases that follow along and work with the curves. Our bases support the tops in form and in function, offering a sense of fluidity and continuity that just wouldn't be readily achievable with traditional table architecture. Well worth the effort. Thanks so much for accompanying me through the design process of these coffee tables, and thank you for your virtual visit to studiojoe.us.